Leo, very warm welcome. My name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. This is a mid-November check-in, guys. All right, so November 2025. Those of you that are new here, welcome. And those of you returning, as always, a big warm welcome back. So let's have a look. Leo, what's going to be happening throughout the last couple of weeks of November 2025 for you guys? How your energy's looking. Center of the reading will be, main challenges and these kind of things, what you might be focused on, possible outcomes. We touch upon your fears and certainly some red flags to look out for. Leo, what to avoid. Let's have a look. Leo, one more shuffle. We're going to go straight into this. Okay, center of your reading. We've got strength in reverse, Leo. That's you in reverse, all right? Some of you might be losing patience, all right? Your patience might be tested throughout November, okay? With what? We don't know yet. Let's have a look. What's going to be your challenge? All right, Leo, we got the Knight of Rods in reverse, Knight of Wands in traditional tarot. This is the Aquarian tarot. Okay, some of you lost patience with someone that might be a little bit in and out, all right? It doesn't have to be that anything is over, but somebody might be a little bit immature and a little bit in and out, a bit wishy-washy, tippy-toe Timmy throughout the last couple of weeks of November, okay? Some of you might just be tired of playerism in general, The reason why it's all happening, because you're healing, Leo. We've got the Star here, all right? And actually, this is the most beautiful card in this deck, my personal favorite, all right? It's such a beautiful card in the Aquarian Tarot, the Star. A very sort of like 70s kind of like artwork. The reason why it's all happening, you've healed, waiting around for people, Leo, people that don't have that fire, that get going life, and the stop starts, people coming to dinner and leaving their coat on. You've no time for that, all right? So the reason why all this is happening, that you're losing patience, is because you've healed, all right? Recent past, Leo, Ace of Cups, all right? This can be a card of self-love, starting to love yourself more. The Ace of Cups is a beautiful card. Again, it's nice artwork in this particular deck. Some of you, if it is about love, all right, some of you might have thought, oh, wow, a brand new beginning in love here, but you kind of like got to see the wood from the trees, and somebody might have been a bit in and out, these kind of things, all right? Your focus, all right, you're not about, being available, Leo, throughout the last couple of weeks of November, easily available, always replying to texts and all these kind of things, being there when people want you. In love, life, work, all right? Being totally available to people that only come in and out of your life when they need something from you, all right? Or when the shit's hitting the fan in their life, or they ain't feeling great about themselves, along they come and they communicate with you. You're not about fast forward movement. You're not about being available to people because you've healed, Leo. What you don't see coming towards you, I think it's a good tower moment. This is a major shift. Anything that's not based on a solid foundation, Leo, is going to come crumbling down, okay? And because you've healed now, you accept tower moments in your life much easier, because who's in control here? You are. It's not, bad shit's happening to you, is it? You're in control. And so, hey, look, I'm only available as much as these people, these kind of characters, okay? Chances, opportunists are available to me. So you're matching energies because you're healed. Does that make sense? So they're no longer, love, life, work, right? They're no longer triggering abandonment, wanting to make your best impression, you know what I mean? Being on your best behavior. You're going to balance everything equally. Hi, Leo, how you doing? Yeah, I'm great, thanks. How are you? All right, so it's an energy match. What are you up to? Oh, I'm just blah, 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 blah. And you're matching text. You're not sending books, you know what I mean? You're matching the energy, the effort that people put into you, Leo, okay? Same applies to work, Here's my salary. I'm working, really hard here. I'm putting in extra hours. But you know what? It's been going on for 6 months, a year, and I haven't got a pay increase. So now what you do is going to match that energy. Hey, look, these are my hours. If you feel that I could do more, then, reflect more to me. Look at my workload already. I don't have enough hours in the day, and yet I'm not being recompensed for my extra time given. Does that make sense? Your energetic field, it's all right. Look, Leo, dealing with characters like this because you've discovered self-love, you're healing, you've healed. All right, we never stop healing, right? We would agree, guys. It's always something there, right? Um, I laughed the other day. A friend of mine, I think he's like, I think he must be like 60 now, and he said, "Yeah, Drew, I did a guided meditation the other day, and it was all about, shed this light, like using lights as a guided visualization, guided meditation. Shine a light on the part of your body which hurts." And he said, my whole body lit up. I just thought it was hilarious. He said, that's the sign of it getting older now, 60. Anyway, but look, your energetic field, Leo, is all about, you know what? I'll take life's disappointments now. I've discovered healing and self-love. I am not responsible for the actions of others. Okay, certainly their immaturity, they got some growing up to do, but I'm staying open. Yeah, I might be a little bit disappointed, but I'm open. That's your energetic field, all right, which is great. So you're not walking around, playing Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You" and shit like that throughout the last couple of weeks of November. Outside influences, the Nine of Wands in reverse. This is letting go of burdens. We've got an 8 and a 9 here. Okay, which breaks down to an 8, which can talk about freedom, walking away, these kind of things. All right, and so you're not overly available. You're just dropping things. You're not going to let people throughout the last couple of weeks of November get to you. You're not going to let them change your state. Okay, unless no one can change our state, Leo. You would agree, unless we give them permission. Okay, in your fears, we've got the Fool. Okay, some of you fear starting again. Okay, just for a select few of you. Some of you fear you don't want to make any foolish decisions, these kind of things. You certainly don't want to be taken as a fool. Okay, throughout November, who does? Another card of healing. All right, coming. This is some of you that have been dealing with heart problems, these kind of things. You might see some kind of respite from that. Whether it's medication or just changing diet, meditation, along those lines. But it's another card of healing. It's like getting over the heartbreak of the messy, shitty behaviors of tippy-toe Timmies and people like that in your life, because you're healing and you found self-love, right? So it's great. It's a powerful last couple of weeks of November for you guys, Leo. So let's clarify now. Let's have a quick look at this. Why is strength in the verse? Why? It's the card of Leo, right? Why is it upside down? Let's have a look. Why is that here? Yeah, you've lost patience with, like I said, tippy-toe Timmies, opportunists, in and out people. They're here one day, they're gone the next, or they're these push-pull bullshit situationships. Leo, you're looking for something solid and something tangible, something you can build with, something you can touch and feel. Yeah, this feels right, There's a song, an old band, Big Star they were called, "My Life Is Right," or something along those lines, right? Might be a song for you there. But anyway, you're about, something solid, something I can feel, something that feels real, not, something that is in and out, okay? Knight of Wands, what is this? Yeah, look, it makes you feel guarded, that kind of behavior, Leo. That's a challenge for you. You don't want to be guarded, but hey, look, people just show up, rather than people that are just there when they need you, Leo. You're looking for reciprocity, right? But, you're healing. Okay, reason why it's all happening. Some of you are healing from the Seven of Swords in reverse. People with agendas. You're starting to, because you heal now, you start to trust yourself more. And so when you distrust people, it's no longer a case of you projecting your lack of trust on yourself. You're seeing through the bullshit and their agendas, and certainly their immaturity. Okay, and this is in all areas of life. Okay, recent past. Yeah, look at this. We've got the Ace of Cups, and then we've got the World. Okay, for some of you, there was an ending in love. And that might have been due to you, choosing you, Leo, self-love, as opposed to just going with the flow and, the ins and outs, the messiness of an in and out, push, pull, rinse, repeat, recycle relationship. Others of you, it's a brand new beginning. Where there's an ending, there's a brand new beginning. All right. So some of you have really discovered loving yourself, respecting yourself, holding your head high, being prideful, being proud. Yeah, look, okay, your energetic, sorry, your focus. You're not about communicating, okay? Knight of Cups in reverse, you're not getting carried away with the romance and the cheap bouquet of flowers to say, sorry, I've been busy at work and, they haven't shown up for you. You're not about that. You're not going to be charmed out of your boundaries. Does that make sense, Leo? Does that make sense? You're yeah, you're not going to be rewarding bad behavior with romance. All right. That's your energy. That's your focus throughout the last couple of weeks. And then we've got the Tower and then the Ace of Cups in reverse, right? What you don't see coming. And I think that's an interesting set of cards right there, guys. Watch out for a select few. You might not see something coming which make you doubt loving yourself. Okay, am I doing the right thing here? Others of you, the shit might hit the fan in certain situations. Maybe somebody tries to reach out and being all romantic and these kind of things after they've acted like a douchebag. And, the tower's going to hit that, because it's not built on a solid foundation. It might come crumbling down and you might just let it go, Leo, and because your energetic field is, all right, disappointed, but I'm still open, And you know what? There's an element of transparency about you, Leo, the last couple, excuse me. I've been reading all morning, guys. My throat is so dry. I should have brought up some water, shouldn't I? You're open after secrets have come to light. You're transparent. I'm healing, So you're not about, wearing a facade or a mask, Leo. You are who you are. Outside influences, yeah. Some of you have dropped the burden on a Queen of Wands, male or female. Okay, some maybe that you found quite attractive. This is an outside influence, Yeah, you're just dropping the burden of it. Okay, you might have found them quite attractive and these kind of things, but they might have been shapeshifters. They might have, you know, sometimes seem very confident and mature, and other times just come out with this kind of behavior. Knight of Wands in reverse, opportunist in and out. We spoke about that. We don't want to focus too much on them. And yeah, look, I think a fear of yours, Leo, all right, throughout the last couple of weeks, you don't want to do any foolish, and sometimes it might be hard for you not to, because you're loving, nurturing people. If you think of the lion, right, it looks after its family, its cubs. You're loving, caring people, It's a fear of yours. You don't want to nurture the wrong situations, okay? You don't want to be foolish with your time, care, and attention, all right? It's still a fear of yours. Will I, give up my self-love, worth, and respect, because it's a tough road to take, the road less traveled, isn't it, And then the outcome, all right, moving away from heartbreak, healing, all right, and being prudent, all right, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, getting to know people, Leo, finding out a little bit of intel, building the tower on solid foundations with this Knight of Pentacles here. So you're being cautious, Doesn't mean to change. You say you got to change your whole, style of interacting with people. It just means that, what? Okay, what's in it for me this time around? Are we building something here? Because, the center of the reading is, I've lost patience. I'm looking to build. And it starts with you, right? So that's great. What's going to be quite key? I'm going to do some messages for love as well, guys. What's going to be quite key for you, all right? Something that you need to pay attention to or consider, Leo, all right, to help you along the way throughout the last couple of weeks of November, living your best life, making the right choices for yourself. Actually, I'm going to take these. They jumped out at me. Okay, so let's have a look. Divine consciousness, interconnection, expansion, openness, and light. Okay, color purple might be quite significant. Um, might be quite a spiritual time for some of you guys, doing a lot of healing work and these kind of things. Now, here's an interesting card. We've got sound, all right, which is the color blue. It's all about the throat chakra. It came out in reverse. I normally don't read these in reverse, but for you, it's like you want to cut out the noise. Does that make sense, Leo? The like the chatter, filling the empty space with, being charming to get yourself off the hook. You just want to drown out that noise. You don't want to listen to it. Okay, because this is all about music, silence, rhythm, and vibration. Okay, music might be quite important to you, the right kind of music, not noisy. Something that's gonna soothe your soul might be quite important. And then we've got another color blue. This is about you speaking up, but certainly speaking to yourself in positive ways, bigging yourself up in front of the mirror, Leo. Self-expression, exchange, sharing, and connection. And this is your energetic field. Being transparent with people. It is what it is. What you see is what you get. I've been through some shit times. I'm healing. So it's last couple of weeks about you being very transparent, very honest with yourself. No time to be charmed the pants off. Okay, not even open to communicating it. To be honest, it's all about healing. Some of you do have some fears about being foolish and nurturing certain situations. Let's have a look. If it is about love, throughout the last couple of weeks of November, all right, some messages around love for you, Leo. If it's about love for Leo, let's have some messages for Leo. Okay, we've got soulmate in reverse. Yes, this is your soulmate. For some of you guys, you might have seen it as quite a divine connection when it first started, and then somebody might have started to shape shift a little bit, and you thought, you're not a soulmate. You're an asshole. Playfulness to recapture romance, allow the inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And that's you, Leo, being transparent, having fun, no time for bullshit. Just watch out, guys, that some of you don't lose touch with the present moment and kind of like get brought back into the past and these kind of things, all right? It happens to all of us, doesn't it? We think we're doing great, and then suddenly, bang, something will come to trigger us. So don't forget to live in the present moment. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going, okay? And I think really you've lost strength. You're looking for something solid. No time for players. It just makes you feel guarded. And you're healing, some of you might be healing, whereas you were so positive, you weren't noticing or spotting red flags in people, in love, life, work. And now you are. You're healing that. You're starting to see through it. You're not out there to impress. You're out there to, let's start slow, sure. Let's make sure that we're friends at the base of this. I'll match your energy. I'll give you as much as you give me, because I know that I have the power to pull back, and I'm still open. I'm transparent. What about you, dude? Do that. Where are you coming from? What's your agenda? I just want to have a look at this Queen of Wands over here. What's that about? All right, it was dropping the burdens. Some of you might have found something still quite attractive, but it wasn't, they might have shape-shifted a little bit, okay? Just for some of you. I'm sorry, forgive me. Obsessive, compulsive, time apart. Yeah, some of you are dropping the burden on someone that maybe have had heavy fire in their chart. You want to reflect some time apart. I'm just wondering whether that might be the same person there. You're not open to communication and these, these poor offerings of sorries, after maybe, they've been a little bit tippy-toe Timmy in and out, not showing up. They're not consistent. Does that make sense? It was just a burden for you. You kind of lost patience with it, just for a select few, or you will lose patience throughout the last couple of weeks of October. I've done that. All right, okay. If you're a song, Leo, okay, the lyrics might mean something, the band might mean something. The melody might evoke certain feelings within you that are just there to, be healed or being brought to your awareness for a certain reason. There might be subliminal messages in the lyrics, right? Unbreak My Heart by Tony Braxton, whatever that might mean for you. Unbreak My Heart. Listen to it once. Maybe there's some words in there which you need to hear, right? And one of these, right? To love you and leave you with, Leo. Positive message to keep in your back pocket, all right? Just that you can pull it out and use it as a mantra to boost your morale throughout the last couple of weeks of November. Leo, what have we got for Leo here? You're deserving. And this is what it's all about. The reason why it's all happening. You're healing. Some of you are healing from deceptive, dishonest opportunists. Taking it slow now. You're transparent, That's not about wearing your heart on the sleeve. That's, hey, look, I'm very aware of where I've been. And if I'm aware of where I've been and how I got out of it, it makes me more discerning now. You're deserving. Accept the good, you deserve it. Reject the bad, you deserve more. And this might just happen. You might let towers crumble on situations, people, places, and things where you just found it a drain, okay? And then we've got focus, Leo. Remain completely focused on exactly what you want. The best is yet to come. And that's an outward show of your internal healing. You will start to see major shows. No longer rushing into situations, slowly moving away from heartbreak and time wasters, and looking for something solid that you can build with, that you can see a future with. Therefore, you build and make beautiful tower moments in your life because it's built on a solid foundation, all right? So, Leo, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed that. My name's Drew. This has been Modern Tarot. If you like the content, please like, share, or subscribe. It means I can continue to do this for free for you. If you want a personal reading, you can reach out on moderntarot.net directly or browse the YouTube Modern Tarot store. And I do my best to give you some clarity on your personal situations. In the meantime, have an amazing last 2 weeks of November, and I'll see you back here in December. Take care. Bye.